because this is going to be our last segment of the day, but it's been such a fantastic morning. We've talked about so many great things, and we're still talking about great things. We're talking to the coach, Dave Hauer. Dave has shared a little bit of his story with us. He is a sports nutrition expert, and he wants to help people. This is the biggest thing that this guy wants to do with his life. After 61 years of grinding it out, this is what he wants to do now, is help you. And the way he's doing it is an amazing way. He's teaching college kids. He's coaching our youth. He's doing it in a lot of different ways by educating people about how they can live overall better lives incorporated through the sports nutrition and the ways that we can eat and live better lives. So you just told me a really cool story off the air that I'd like to bring to the air. Okay? And it's talking about how different things can change the mindset of the way things traditionally used to be, okay? And I'm setting that up in a way that when someone gets ill with cancer, normally it involves a lot of sickness, and not just disease sickness, but the physical act of getting sick and vomiting. This didn't happen with your wife, Jane. And I want you to tell everybody what you did differently for her that allowed that to happen.
Okay, fine with that. We did just have a discussion on that. And I got to be honest, it was by accident that I found this out. When my wife had to go for her treatments, she had to have a high-fat meal before she left, and we drive over to Philadelphia from South Jersey here every day. She would have to have a high-fat meal and a pill, and then we would stop 20 to 25 minutes later when we were just before the Ben Franklin Bridge, take another pill so that her system was ready for the chemo radiation she was about to get. But this went on for quite some time, and while Jane was getting her treatments, the doctors would sit and talk with me about the different things, because in many ways, they were learning about the things that were happening with Jane, and boy, I sure was learning. I'm sitting here with these four doctors, sometimes three doctors, and these men were brilliant. I mean, there's no question about it. I thought I had a little bit of intelligence, and then after talking with them, I knew I had a little bit of intelligence. By their standards, whatever, she was supposed to get sick almost on a daily basis, and she did not. For the longest time, she did not. She did not get sick until the very, very end, and at that point, things had changed as far as the treatments. But
they came to you, right? And they said, how? How is this happening?
Yeah, we sat there and they said, how is it that she's not sick? Because I had to have supplies and in the truck with me every single day just in case she did get sick. And as I read their guidelines, the many months before, the guidelines said she had to have a high-fat meal. Mm-hmm. And, I guess it's the way I interpreted it, or the way I read that. To me, a high-fat meal would have been healthy fats. So what we would do on a daily basis, I would get her a whole grain bagel. We would use grass-fed butter, and I had almond butter. Trader Joe's almond butter, you can get anybody's brand. And she would have that. That would be the meal, the high-fat meal we had. And when I mentioned that, that's where the doctors just dropped their pens, dropped their pencils, like, can you go through that again? I went, sure. And to me, it was like, all right, that was just normal procedure. But I guess not.
Right.
I guess most people had been thinking, fast foods, things
right.
like that.
French fries, burgers, right. Stuff that's traditionally associated with high fat content.
Exactly, with the bad fats and trans fats also. And like all at once, it seemed like this light bulb went on for everybody in the room. And it was a really great feeling for me.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
if you can say you're in a chemo and radiation ward and having a great feeling, I had a great feeling. And they said, this could be something that may help thousands of people. And that's what they said, thousands of people. And you had to know my wife, Jane, when she came out of her treatment, she was always smiling every time she came out of her treatment. And that was a pick-me-up for me, even though I was forcing a smile. Mm-hmm. And I told her all about this story, and the smile became her normal, biggest you could ever get. And, she said, Dave, if this can help one person, wow, it was really, really worth it. And I said, you're right. But according to the doctors, this could help thousands of people.
It's so awesome. You're talking about sitting across the table with some of the top medical professionals in the world, and I am not overextending that. The University of Pennsylvania and Jefferson Hospitals here in Philadelphia are world class medical facilities with the highest trained medical professionals in the world, and for them to have that light bulb moment sitting across from the coach, right? How awesome was that? That had to be like, look, I didn't go to your fancy colleges, I don't have your papers on the wall, but I'll tell you this much there, Doc, I've got your answer.
I didn't exactly put it that way, but it was a great moment for me, and especially for Jane, because when you're the person going through that battle, I can only imagine, a pick me up like that is huge.
It is.
Absolutely huge.
It is such a inspiring piece of the story that, you know, it's going to carry me and keep me at a good level for the rest of my day. It's something that I'm going to think about, you know, for a long time to come, because these are the positivity and the positive things that happen that sometimes come out of tragedies and really sad situations that are the most educational for people, and they're the most impactful for people. And I think that you've got this really great outlook on things that you just want to help. You just want to help people live better lives. It's not about smashing and grabbing as much money as you can, and it's not about getting the new car, and yes, those things are nice to have, but it's really about people, relationships, healthy lives, working towards making things better, because if we're better as people, everything else gets better, right? It's pretty much, it's a common sense theory, I think, right?
But common sense can be very uncommon. Well, Mark, you bring out some great points, and you know, one of the things that I'd like to finish with as we're near the end here, and I have lived this ever since my wife passed away, and that is to make every day count and live every day. I have a poster on my refrigerator in the garage and refrigerator at home as far as living every day. So no matter how badly a day goes, make something positive happen that day, because I've seen what happens on the other side.
Yeah.
And I try to do that every single day, and as far back as I can remember now, in this 3 years and 8 months, it's worked out really well.
It's not a cliche. It's not something that just gets said. You know, there was a popular song a few years back, "Live Like You Were Dying," and it's a message that if more people took it to heart, I think that the community we live in might be a better place. So if anybody out there wants to get in touch with Dave Hauer for any reason, okay, just to talk, a sympathetic ear if you're going through something really tough, if you want to get information about sports nutrition, if you want to find out how to live a better life, send Dave an email. And I want you to give your email address to everybody right now, please.
Okay, it would be daveh447@msn.com. And by the way, that song that Mark mentioned, that's by Tim McGraw. If you're looking for that, "Live Like You Were Dying."
So once again, real quick, it's Dave H.
447@msn.com.
Send him an email. He's more than willing to talk to you about whatever you want. Seriously, even if you want to talk about the Flyers Stanley Cup playoff run, he might even give you a response. I don't know.
I will, but I'm a Rangers fan.
Oh no, we can't end on that note. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was an awesome morning here on Morning Coffee. I want to thank the coach, Dave Hauer, for coming in. This was an excellent morning. Thank you very much. So we're going to see you again on Morning Coffee tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.